Okay, am I audible over the web? Over here? Okay, yeah. This was our intention, right? Yeah. Okay. Let us wait for a couple of minutes. People have it to be joined. Let us wait for a couple of minutes. Yeah. Okay, I have Packer in this machine. I'm uninstalling. That's it. I'm not doing anything apart from that. Let us start from installation. Yeah. Okay then. So this is our motive today. We want to use Packer to create Amazon image. Okay. So our image might not be a wonderful image on the day one, but let us at least see what are the different steps which we have done. Yesterday, what we have done, we have logged in into Amazon. We have created the virtual machine, and then in that virtual machine, we have executed some manual commands. To be more specific, I have executed only two commands: sudo apt-get update and sudo apt-get install nginx. Okay, and after that, I go to the EC2 machine, right click, image, create image. These are the manual steps which I have done yesterday. Right now, I want Packer to do all of that. I want Packer to do all of that. Now, since I was logging in, I know my username and password. But how will I tell Packer? That's the first thing, right? I have to tell my credentials to the Packer. Okay. So telling credentials of AWS to Packer, telling credentials of Azure to Packer, or telling credentials of something else to Packer might differ from cloud to cloud. It is not the same everywhere. But you have to tell credentials, yes or no. Otherwise, in which account will it create the image? So the first thing which you need to look at is, how do I provide my credentials? All right. This is the first thing. Now, after that, how do I tell Packer to create image in Amazon or AWS? Because we'll be using the same steps. Tomorrow I might use Azure, or I might use Google Cloud, or I might use any cloud for that matter. So there might be some specific area where I'll be telling Packer that I want you to do this. Okay, fine. Next, how do I execute the commands? When I say the commands, in our case, the commands were sudo apt-get update and sudo apt-get install. So these were my commands. So how do I tell this to Packer? Okay. So before executing these commands, Packer also have to create a virtual machine, and it has to execute the stuff over there. And the result of this, what will be the result of this? An Amazon image. I am calling it as a complete name, which is called as machine image, which they also call as Amazon machine. So these are the steps which I need to basically execute, right? So first thing is about credentials. The second thing is, how do I tell Packer that you need to create it in AWS, not in Azure or not in any other cloud? There should be some way to tell that. Okay. And then executing some commands. All right. So now this is what we need to do. Now let us see what Packer has to offer. And then let us compare what Packer has to offer with what we have to do, so that we will come to know which section has to be used where. Make sense? Right. So just go to qualitythought.in/blog, and in this blog go to DevOps, and in here just search for this Packer. Yeah, this is the presentation which I'd be presenting in the class. Everything is already there. Right. There might be some slides which might be missing. Okay, some human error and all of that stuff. If there is any such thing found, we can correct it. All right. Okay. This is what Packer is known for: immutable infrastructure. What is immutable? Mutable means changes are allowed. Immutable means changes are not allowed. Okay. If the changes are not allowed, why do I need to use Packer? The whole purpose why they tell immutable infrastructure is changes are not allowed manually. If you want to create anything, create via Packer. Okay. Any change we control via Packer. So that's why we call it as immutable infrastructure. Anything which we want, we will be writing something in Packer which gives us infrastructure. All right. So to be more specific, Packer is restricted to an infrastructure which is image. It cannot give you execution environments. Packer will always give you images. Okay. Okay. So now your company tells that today for Nginx, let us use version 1, and tomorrow let us use version 2. So version 2 is a new Packer file for you, or a new Packer version for you. You will not go into the existing image and then change anything. No, you will start again from beginning. So that's why we call it as it doesn't changes over time. Changes are not allowed basically. Whenever there is a change, you will get a new version. You will get a new version of your file. That's the whole idea, right? Okay. This is a convention which comes across DevOps, right? The pets and the cattle. Okay. So basic convention over here is in all these days we used to have servers in our office, and we know the IP address of the server, we know how the touch and feel of the server looks like, how big your server is, and all of that. Okay. So we were looking after our servers as if they were our pets. Okay. We were going away from that convention and we are going to treat our server as cattle. What do I mean by that? So imagine that you have a pet at your home. Something happens to it, you become very emotional. Okay. Now let me tell you the other side of the same story. You are owning a dairy farm. You are having 250 cattle. One cattle is having fever. How will it impact your personal life? Almost nothing. Zero. Because we don't have a real emotional attachment towards it. That's how basically this Packer, Docker, or Terraform wants to treat you like your infrastructure. If it is not working, good, sell it off and get the new one. That's what we do in dairy farm, right? Yeah. Here also we do the same thing. If it is not working, just strip that stuff and create the new one. That's the whole point. That's what this cattle and pet terminology. It might come again and again. While again I speak about Kubernetes, I might be showing you the same slide, because this is a terminology which is vastly used in the cases of the virtual environments. If it is a physical server, you can't throw it off. That's the whole problem. So that's why we are speaking about virtual infra, right? We don't try to correct it. So let us assume you have created a virtual machine and for some reason that virtual machine is not working. Okay. And there are 10 other virtual machines. They are working, but this is the only thing which is not working. You would just shut it down and create the new one. You would not even get into the issues. You will look into the issue if all the 11 are facing problems. That's the way which we look at right now. Yeah. Okay. I think that's the same thing which is trying to speak about. Okay. Now, the other thing which we get with Packer is from Packer we get testable infrastructure. What do I mean by that? Individual step of the Packer can be tested. Okay. You create a EC2 machine. You can test till that point whether did I got it. I've executed a couple of commands. Okay. Is the server working or not? Wonderful. You can do that. Okay. So you can testable infrastructure and you can reproduce the same infrastructure again and again in different various environments. So what do I mean by that? For example, I've written a Packer. I'm writing a Packer for creating an Nginx, right? That is our intention for today. You can use the same file to create Nginx image in any AWS account throughout the world. Yeah, for that we need to design it correctly. That's a different stuff. You should not hard code your names and email IDs over there or whatever is specific to you. If you just skip that, you write it once and you can reuse it as many times as you. So any infrastructure which you are creating, if you write it correctly, can be reused many times. And that is the best part of it. So if your script is reusing at many places, that means that you are avoiding many redundant works. Otherwise, you have to go into every server and execute those two simple commands. That doesn't make sense. Right? Okay. And then unit of deployment and confident changes, because here we don't deploy everything at one shot. We do one after the other. Right? So this is the smallest unit of deployment, which is an image. Right? And basically the changes which you are going to give to your team or production servers are confident because you might have already tested it, because this is a testable infrastructure. That's what these 4 benefits are all about. Right? Okay. Yeah. When to use it? Use it every time. Use it every time. I know many companies. Okay, I said right. The DevOps starts from the moment developer writes the code. Developer writes the code and we have to build the code. And once we build the code, we will get some installation format. For example, like MSI or WAR or whatever it is. Okay. I know many companies, the next build step is create a Packer image out of it. Depending on their deployment environment, okay, with the installed version of your application, they create an image ready and available, okay, with versions, so that tomorrow, whenever any version they want to bring it up, they will quickly bring it up in the whatever environment it is. For example, let me say that you are building the code. Your application is, let us assume, best e-commerce. That is your product's name, okay, and we have started coding for this project. Let us assume that 1 year back. All right. For every 1 week, we will have one build. Let us assume that is the scenario. Okay. So for every 1 week's build, you have a AMI now. Okay. Can you reproduce any environment that was built throughout the year? Because you might have 52 AMIs already. Okay. That's the whole point. So basically, you can create the images. If you don't need it, you might delete it also. That's the basic point is, there are many companies who deploy using Packer directly, because they create the image and then they take this image in the dev environment, they create it using T2 micro. In the production environment, they might use a very large machine like M4 large or T4 T2 2x large, whatever it is. They increase the CPU, but the actual image which they are using across environments is actually the same stuff. That's the whole point. Okay. So basically, whenever you are working on virtual environments or cloud environments, use Packer all the time. All the time. Okay. Because there will not be many deployment steps once you create a Packer image. Okay. So we will be creating a Packer image with your application already installed in it. Okay. Yesterday I have shown you, right, SAP images, right, SharePoint images. So whenever your code will be built, you will be having those kind of images with your application's name, with whatever your company is building. That's the whole idea, right? Yeah. Now, Packer has many advantages. First thing is, you can use the native tools. It is completely native application. Okay, it doesn't require any specific set of tools, and you can integrate Packer with your existing stuff. For example, I am very good at Ansible. My company has used Ansible a lot to automate a lot of infrastructure. I can integrate Packer and Ansible. My company is using Chef. In Chef, they have done a lot of work for deployments of the or configuring your infrastructure. I can integrate Chef with Packer. Okay, the Packer image which I create can be converted into Docker. Here again, I'm telling you one word: this will work, but not a better way. We have to do it natively in Docker. చేయొచ్చు, do it only when it is absolutely needed. Otherwise, I would prefer doing it in Docker itself, right? Because conversions onto production servers is not a good idea. Any tool which does conversion, right? So I know many people who use uh, converting their VM, okay, images into Amazon AMIs. Okay, it works, but the problem is whenever there is small issue which comes, then they have to go through everything. So better is rebuild, especially for production environments. Don't mess it up, do it the right way. So that's the reason why, even though I've said that it is easy to convert into Docker, I would not prefer this way. If I have to do it, I would rewrite it, right? Okay, now in Packer, what is that you are going to write is you are going to write something called as templates. You are going to write something called as templates, and in templates you have three important areas: builders, provisioners, and post processors. Builders is the mandatory area. Builder is a mandatory area. Rest of the two are not mandatory. And this template is written in a format which is called as JSON. We'll be learning JSON today. We'll do some exercises on that, right? Okay. So in builder, okay, let us go back to our stuff. What were our questions? How do I provide credentials? How do I tell Packer to create an image in AWS? The first two questions are answered by something called as builder. So in builder, you will tell what is the environment and what are your authorization or authentication details. Okay. Tomorrow, if I want to create in Azure, I will be finding a builder which I can use for Azure images. I want to create in Google Cloud. So I'll be looking forward for a Packer builder which is made to create images on Google Cloud. Okay. I want it for VirtualBox. So I'll be looking out for a builder which works for VirtualBox, VMware, Hyper-V, anything the same thing. So builder will tell you what is your environment where you want to create this image. Make sense? Right? Next, what is it? Provisioners. Right? So is just creating the image enough, or do we need to do something extra? We need to install Nginx. And to install Nginx, we need to run two commands. Right? Sudo apt-get update and sudo apt-get install Nginx -y. These two are executed in provisioners. So in provisioner is all about your customizations. So once you have the basic image, what will you do? That is all provisioners, right? So provisioners is a place where you will be reusing your Ansible work or Chef work. If you really want to use your Ansible and Chef in the Packer, provisioner is a place. Post processor is for conversions. I said right in the previous slide, easily be converted into Docker and all of that. You have built for something else and now you want to convert into something else. That's the case when post processor will come into play. Once your image is complete, it is ready, and if you want to do something extra, that is a post processor section. Three important sections: builders, provisioners, post processors. Builder will tell you where is that, what is your environment, what are the details about it. So if I have to build it in AWS EC2 image or AMI image, I have to find a builder in Packer which will help me to do that. Similarly, if I give you a task saying that can you create an VM image for me which has an Nginx, so you will be searching for a builder in Packer which is for VMware. Okay, so builder is your execution environment. Next comes provisioning. Provisioning is once you have the basic environment, what are the other steps which you need to execute? So in my case, the other steps are very simple: sudo apt-get update, and these are the two commands. So in my template, which I am going to write in Packer, the provisioner will have these two lines. Okay, post processor I don't need for this, but post processor is converting whatever you have done into some other format. Okay, easily convertible into Docker or something like that. You build a VirtualBox image and you convert it into Vagrant box. That is post processor. So post processor is converting into some other formats and all of that. So are we good? Do we know the purpose of all of these three? Builder will tell you about the execution environment. If I give you an exercise like, can you use Packer to build an image in Oracle Cloud? So you have to build the Nginx image in Oracle Cloud. We don't know what Oracle Cloud is. You have never used it. Okay. The first thing is we need to find out whether there is a builder in Packer which will help us to create an image in. One minute. Yeah. Yeah. We need to find out a builder in Packer whether it is for your suitable for your needs or not. In our case, Oracle Cloud. Tomorrow, if someone comes and says that I want a DigitalOcean droplet for Nginx, never came across the terminology, but he says that he wants an image. So first thing which you need to search for is builder. So builder is the major part over here. If you don't find a builder, that means that you cannot create it. So for example, if you don't find a builder in Packer which is about AWS, then you cannot create AWS image. That's as simple as that. So builder is a key area. So to that builder, you need to pass different parameters. It could be your usernames, passwords, whatever it could be. Okay, all the details for basically achieving that. The second step is, once you get the basic stuff, what are the other extra things which you need to customize? Provisioning is all about customizing for your environments. The third step is about conversion. Clear? So in Packer, what are the three important sections which we need to worry about? Builders, provisioners. What is the purpose of the builder? It will decide what is your execution environment, where you need to basically build it. Okay. For that, you need to pass multiple values also. So for example, let us assume it takes username and password for AWS. Then it is in the builder section where you provide these values. All right. And then provisioner. Provisioner is all about customizing to your needs. You get the basic image. What is that your application installation steps is nothing but provisioning. Okay. So in the provisioning, you can use simple shell scripting, or you can use existing configuration managements also. So for example, your company is already using Ansible or Chef. You can go and use something called as Chef provisioning there. Okay. So for the people who don't know Chef, don't worry about it. We will be using only those two lines today. Okay. The third one is conversions, right? And now we write all of this in a file which we call as Packer template. We write all of this in a file which we call as Packer template, because if you see what is that we are writing is, we are writing a template which will give us an image. Okay. You execute this template as many times as you want, you will be getting the same image. All right. That's the first thing. And now this template is in the format of JSON, JavaScript object notation. So the first thing before we get into all of this is we should know how to write JSON or how to read JSON. So let us worry about that. Okay. So what is JSON? Let me look at questions. Yeah, let us finish JSON first and let us worry about the builders. All right. So the purpose till now which has to be served is, you should know what builder is, what basically the provisioner is, and what the post processor is. I'll come back to how to go about the customizations and all of that. Right. Yeah. Okay. What is the difference between Vagrant and Packer? Both are creating machines. Okay. Is the Packer creating machine, by the way? Packer is used to create a machine image, right? Not a machine. రెండిటికి తాళానికి కార్కి ఉన్నంత తేడా ఉంది, right? So they're different. Yeah. Okay. So what is a JSON? Okay, let me come back to something which you use very often. So we use Facebook, right? Yeah. And in the Facebook, whenever we post, the data will be sent to Facebook server, and from Facebook server we get the data. That is the basic common stuff. Everyone knows that. All right. So how is the data downloading and uploading from your system to, from your mobile or to the server, or from your browser to the server? in which format does the data go. Okay, so the best known format till that point was XML. Okay, but the problem with XML is very good format. It can hold any kind of data. Okay, but the size of the XML was something which was not making so much happy for app developers or for these kind of people who exchange over the internet. So why? What is the problem with that? So let us assume that how are your internet or mobile or internet charged basically? How is your internet charged? Bills by sizes of download and upload. Do you agree to that? Okay. So basically, if I use an XML, it is good. But if I tell you that if there is some other format which can send you the same data, but the size of the data will be 10 times, at least 10 times less than XML, then will it be a useful stuff for customers? Yes. This was a thought where all of it started. Okay. XML does send the data, but the problem is they are heavy. They are heavy. They are good for servers, but not for mobiles and these kind of stuff. And the other problem with XML kind of stuff is you need parsers. You need parsers and syntax validators. You need loads and loads of stuff, and you can't expect that stuff to work anywhere, because if you see these days we use internet almost in very smaller devices, wearable devices like Apple Watch and all of that. There you cannot expect 8 GB or 6 GB of RAMs and huge applications running in over there, right? With IoT coming into play, the requirement of stuff has become much more difficult. So JSON is a format which is used to represent the data, That data can be used for anything. In the case of Facebook application, that data is used to upload to the server and download from the server. If I am using that data in some other application, it could be in for some other purpose. For example, I use JSON to configure my system settings. In that case, I am not uploading and downloading the data. I am just representing my configuration settings in JSON file. So JSON is nothing but representation of data. So what do I mean by that? Any data which you should tell, which you want to represent it to the program or to the other person, you should be able to represent it in JSON format. And by the way, JSON is a format which is derived from JavaScript. Okay, that's why it is called as JavaScript object notation. If the name tells you everything, if you are using or if you have used JavaScript, there, if you want to represent an object, you will be using some structure. Exactly, that is the structure what they brought in into a file and they call it as JSON, right? So JSON is a very simple file. JSON is collection of key value pairs. JSON file is nothing but collection of key value pairs. You will not have anything but key and value pairs, right? So it is collection of key value pairs. So what do I mean by key value? Okay, let us assume that I want to write a JSON file which tells about you or which tells about any person, okay, in India. So what are the different things that can be seen over here? Name, phone number, Aadhaar ID. Let us take only these two. I can't write address, man, it is too much huge, but address is also one key. Okay, and then alternate mobile number and whatever you see. So these are all the keys. Okay, so across the users the keys are same. Yes. So if I want to use the same JSON file for you and me, the keys don't change, values change, because name, in my case it might be different and in your case it might be different. So basically keys define you the structure of the stuff. Okay, right, clear? So we'll be defining keys and values. So first thing is find out the keys for your structure. And now let me open the other notepad to write a simple JSON about it. Okay, JSON starts from, one minute, the problem is with the, better, yes, JSON starts from curly braces. In this curly braces you would be writing keys and values. A curly brace in JSON represents or tells that it is an object. It is an object. Now the question, what is an object? What could be object? Object ఏమై ఉంటుంది? Tell me what is object? Still remembering definitions. Instance of an object and then instance of a class. What is class then? Class is compile time property of object. All right. Okay. So what in this room, do we have any objects? Are you seeing any objects? Yes. What are they? In this room, what is not an object? Adi cheppandi poni. In this room, what is not an object? I am not saying what objects em chusaru kada. Objects kani enti? Air is not an object. Air is also an object, by the way. Pardon me? You are not an object. If I am building a healthcare application, you are also an object for me. Room is also an object. The basic concept is everything is an object. Okay, even your imagination can be an object. నాకు కల్లో నిన్న hero వచ్చాడు. Even that is an object. Right? So there is nothing that is not an object. The whole definition of object oriented programming is, since you are programming for an object, you can program for everything. That's the whole idea of object oriented programming. Right? So whenever you think of any object, it will have two important characteristics. One is capability, the other one is content. Okay, so every object will have some capability. Right? So for example, if you take TV, what is the capability? It can stream you some movies, or it can play you some stations. Right? And contents, what is that made of, or what does it have? It will have probably a screen, a motherboard within it. Right? So you take anything in this world and you can define these two properties, and for that you don't need to be a genius at all. Okay, what are the capabilities and what are the characteristics? Right? Or to be very specific or very simple, you can ask two questions for anything. What does it do and what does it have? I take a bus, what does it do? It helps me in commuting. Okay, what does it have? It has a conductor, it has a seat, it has a bus driver, it has an engine, you name it. Right? That's how you write object oriented programming. And for the people who are writing Java or .NET, whom you feel that these guys are very intelligent, no, they are not. So they will look at any object like this, and every content will become something called as a member, and every capability will become a method. That's nothing but object oriented programming. Grady Booch 360 పేజీలో చెప్పేది ఇదే. If you understood the essence of object oriented programming, that's what it is. Now, since we are representing only data, for us capability is not a concern. In this file, I am not representing a program, I am representing data. So I am worried only about the contents, not the capabilities. Capabilities is programmer's headache, not mine. I am representing data. Okay, and in data, whenever you are representing, you don't represent capabilities. You might list out the capabilities. Capability 1, it can do this, that's it. But how it does, we are not interested, because we are looking at data format. Right? Are we good? So now if I want to write a detail about anything, can I tell what are the different things which I can tell about? I want to tell about a student. Student will have an ID card. Student might have a contact number. Student might have the father's or guardian's name. All right, all of these kind of stuffs. All these things which you want to tell about an object will become a key. Will become a key. And now you have a value. Value changes from person to person, representing what you want to tell about. Right? So I want to tell about a Maruti car. Name or type, make becomes Maruti. Okay, I want to tell about Audi car. Same structure, but the make becomes Audi. Right? So from one object to the other object, if you are telling about the same category of the stuff, the value changes. Right? And there are two kinds of objects or two kinds of values. One is simple, the other one is complex. Name, write your name, simple. Address, write your address, simple. Okay. In the address, if you want to write it in such a way that I want to tell about my first street line, I want to tell about landmark, I want to tell about pin code, I want to tell about state and all of this, then suddenly your address, which was simple, looks complex now. So the only distinction between address, simple and complex is, are you able to tell the value in one simple string or number or boolean? Then it is, we call it as simple. If you cannot do that, then we call it as complex. Okay, that's the whole point. Sometimes the values might be multiple in nature. Okay, so in India, no one has single phone number. Everyone has at least 3 or 4 SIMs. So mobile numbers, you cannot use mobile number in India. You have to use mobile numbers. You are telling about multiple values now. These are the only 3 things which you will be facing in any data representation. One is simple, the other one is complex, the third one is multiple in nature. So multiple could be simple or complex. Yes, yeah. Now whenever I tell simple, okay, simple has only 3 formats. It could be a number, it could be a string, or it could be a boolean. So let us write about a student's information. ID, this is a key. Colon, okay, colon differentiates between key and value. And let me write ID is QT101. Right? This is my first key value of an object. Okay. First key and value pair of this object. I want to write the second key value. A key value is differentiated by comma. So you will use comma. Done. Now I want to write about a second key. Let us assume that I want to write about name. Okay. So name is, let us assume it is test. Now I want to write about third stuff. Okay. So let me write about not citizenship is too much for quality thought, right? So let us write about something else, not phone number. Course will come back later. I want to write simple stuff now. What is that? Yeah, referred. Are you referred or not? Okay, if someone has referred you, the answer to this is yes or no, or true or false. So I'd be writing true or false over here. My third stuff is done. So these are simple stuffs, right? And then probably age, okay, some number, right? So I have string, I have boolean, and I have number. The key, whatever you want to ask, the answer is very simple for me. All right. Now I want to take the address, but the problem with address is I want to take your street line 1, street line 2, state, city, and pin code. I have many different things to be asked in address. So my key is simple, but whereas my value has 5 different values, right? Yes. So suddenly my value looks complicated. So let us see how to deal with that. So it is other key value. So comma. Okay. Address. Okay. And now my value of address is complex. Whenever it is complex, it is an object. So just put curly braces again. Simple. Whenever it is complex, it is object. So I put square curly braces. And I said with the starting the representation of JSON file itself, anything which you see in curly braces in JSON is an object. So complex type is object. Simple type is either string or boolean or numbers. So I would go over here, and again suddenly, since I know what has to be done in object now, I will be writing multiple key value pairs. And what would be my first key? Street 1 or This is my key, or not street 1, it is address 1. Okay, and in this he might be writing something. Okay, and then the next key is, probably I'll not write all, but I'll be writing some landmark. Okay, so some landmark. Now the third one probably is state, and then done. So now my address is a complex type, because I cannot tell the value of address directly. To tell the value of address, I need again key value pairs. That's what a complex stuff is, right? And then a student, this is done. I want to go to the next key value pair, and here I write about courses. రాసేసుకుంటున్నారా ఇది? రాసుకోండి, బాగా ఉపయోగపడుతుంది, జీవితాంతం ఉపయోగపడుతుంది. Understand what I am trying to tell, because I will be giving you an exercise item right now. You should know how to represent this structure, right? So courses, is it there that a student in quality that is supposed to join only one course? So if it was one course, I would have used a string. But the problem is, student can join DevOps and RPA, or DevOps and AWS, or he can join any other combination. So I want to tell about multiple things now. So when I want to tell anything which is multiple, I would be using square brackets. Anything which is multiple, I'll be using square brackets. Now in the square brackets, I'd be writing something like DevOps Cloud. Done. So whenever you want to represent anything in JSON, ask these questions. What is that you are representing? Okay, what are the contents? And for contents, what are the keys and what are the values? Okay, for any key, value can be only of 3 categories. Either it is simple, complex, or multiple in nature. Okay, so whenever I am saying multiple in nature, it could be multiple, and every item in that might be a complex. So for example, rather than telling address, if I tell that give me all the addresses which you have, so temporary address, permanent address, or whatever the different addresses are, so then I will be using a square bracket, and in that square bracket I'll be using multiple curly braces, because address is a complex stuff. So that's how I would design. Right, we'll be looking at that structure also. Fine. So square bracket is for what? Multiple items, which is nothing but your array. Okay, and curly brace is for an object. Okay, string in quotes. For boolean and numbers, you don't need any quotes, you can directly write the values. All right, so if I want to write other students details now, so what will be the same? Keys will be same, values might be something else. Yes, yeah, okay. So any doubts on this? Okay, now let us try to write something which we know very well. Okay, I want to represent the data which your librarian maintains. Okay, not while issuing books, to see what are the different books which you have in library. I want to write a JSON which will represent in me the books in library. Good. Yes, so I am saying books, which means the statement is multiple. Fine. And in library today we have books, tomorrow we might have CDs and magazines also. So I will not be writing it just for books, I will also be thinking about in the future. All right, so shall we try that? Yes. So every book in library, what are the different keys which we should write about? Every book should have first a unique ID in your library. Yeah, because while issuing it to the students, you would be giving by the ID of that book. Right, so for every book you will have an ID. Obviously book will have an author, year of publishing, right, and then you will have some other information for which department it is, right, that is required or not required, it depends on what kind of library it is. If you are speaking about engineering college library, then you might have department stuff on that, but if you are speaking about a library which is for public, you might not even worry about it. Though in that case, the only thing which you would be looking at is you would be looking at the genre of that book. What is it? Is it a science fiction book, or is it a technology book, something like that? Okay, so every book will have it, and I'm speaking about multiple books. So, and I'm speaking about a library in this basic JSON. Shall we try that? Yes, మీరు ఫస్ట్ రాస్తారో నేను ఫస్ట్ రాస్తారో చూద్దామా ఎక్కించుకునే వాళ్ళకి. రైట్. సో ఐఎమ్ టెల్లింగ్ అబౌట్ a JSON. I have library. It is a JSON object. So I will be basically starting it from curly brace and ending it with. In library I will have books. Yes. So my first key is books. Man, I don't want to use this editor somehow. Let me use something else. That just kills time. Forget about what this folder is. Let me use JSON over here. New file, library, and JSON files are generally saved with .json. Yeah. So it starts from curly brace and ends from curly brace. The first key which I want to write is colon. Is a book singular value or a multiple value? So whenever it is multiple, what is that we would be using? Done. So that's the first stuff. Okay. And now after that probably you might write about magazines. Will you have one magazine or multiple magazines? So square bracket again. Right. So then you might write about CDs. You might write about whatever the different stuff which you have in library. So this part is clear, right? Simple. Now is book a simple thing or a complicated thing? Because I need to tell about the idea of the book, I need to tell about basic author of the book, I need to tell about year of publishing, right? These three things will write about a book. So I can't write it in simple terms. Whenever it is not simple, it is complex. How do I write it? I'll be writing square brackets. In square bracket, the first key is ID. Okay. And ID is 1. Okay. Or let me use it as B1, just to give a representation that it is a book in the ID itself. All right. And then other. Okay. Fine. So next. Okay. Oh, other రాసాం టైటిల్ ఎవరు రాస్తారు? Yes, you have to write title, which is more important than other. All right. So, each key value pair should be separated by comma. If you see second and third, I have not done it. So that's why this editor is showing me the error, saying that the third line there is something wrong. Yeah. Fine. This is for the first book. I have to write my second book. So comma. And now key ID. Okay. B2. Title. Okay. So what is the book which will be write? Okay. I don't remember the author of it. Okay. And one mistake which I'm doing is I have to follow the convention of key value pairs with everything starts from capital letter or everything small starts from small letter. Okay. So ఇక్కడ నేను author కి A capital పెట్టాను. So either I will go with everything as small or I will go with everything as capital, which starts from capital. When I say everything, not every letter, I should follow the same convention. All right. So I'll come over here and then other. If you see, suddenly this is helping me out, right? That's why I'm using this editor. Okay, and I don't know the other, so let me write don't know, so that we can correct it at later point of time. Publish here also I'm not sure. Okay, so publish here, let me put it as 2010, something like this. So is my books finished? Yeah, are you getting an idea of how to deal with this stuff? If I have some more keys, probably I'll be adding them. Yeah, this is how you write JSON. Now you go to the magazine, then you would do the same thing over here. For every magazine you will have ID. Okay, so let me write it as M1. And magazine will not have an author. It will generally have basically the publisher or. Okay, so let me write it as publisher. I'm not sure whether people are still interested in it, but while we were doing our engineering, people were very much interested in this book. Okay, I'm not sure about the what is happening now. All right, and then you would not have publish here, but you will have something called as volume there. Okay, so you will give some volume number. Volume number could be a string, 2018. What is this? May. Okay, so they will have some kind of this volume, and I will write about on one more magazine. Similarly, I'll be going into the CDs section or DVDs section. Then I'll be writing about each and every CD which I have in my. So am I representing data here? So I'm worrying only about data. I'm not worrying about functionality. Remember that. So whenever you are writing JSON, you will represent data itself, not execution code. Okay. So similarly in Packer, we will be telling the data of what has to happen. Execution of that is taken care by Packer. We are representing what we want in this terminology, right? Okay. So till here, do we have any doubts first? Because to go to that point, we should be good at this. If you don't know this JSON, you will not be able to make up on what is that we are writing in Packer, right? Is it possible that one book has certain JSON properties while the other book have other? Yeah, it is. It is. So for example, uh, if this book is, let us assume that the second book is your office, your company, your college's book, okay, which is published for the students. This is an general book, so it will have an ISBN number. Okay, it will have some ISBN number, whereas this book doesn't have an ISBN number. That is absolutely possible. Okay, so for the second book, the ISBN number is null or empty. That's how your languages or programming language is depicted. So you might have some properties, not every property different. If every property is different, it doesn't make sense to be writing it in the same book section. It might have some extra properties, that's fine. Yeah, కానీ అన్ని ప్రాపర్టీలు డిఫరెంట్ గా ఉంటే అవి ఒకదానికి బిలాంగ్ అవ్వవు. If they are not having same properties, they don't belong to the same section. Fine. Yes, so shall we do something? We have 7 minutes of time and I want you to represent a JSON. Now you show your writing skills, okay, which basically list outs the theaters and playgrounds in your city. I want you to write a JSON which will list out or which will show me the data of movie theaters and playgrounds in your city. So first find out, if I have to represent a movie theater, how will I represent? So what will each movie theater have? What will each playground have? Okay, then write this stuff. Yeah, okay, the same is for the people of the web. Write a JSON file which represents playgrounds and movie theaters in your city. So by looking at your JSON, I should be able to make out, okay, you have these many theaters, you have, and you have basically these many playgrounds in your city. Okay, fine. Yeah, there is no problem in expecting automation, but unfortunately JSON still doesn't support it. You have to write individual properties, right? Yeah. If they are common, you have to describe it in the other way. Yeah, not like this. Yeah. Is JSON similar to database? Not in a way. In database, you write queries to insert and retrieve the data. Here we are writing the file format directly. Yeah. JSON doesn't have any schema. It is schemaless. The whole point of JSON is it is schemaless. Have you heard of something called as NoSQL databases? Yeah, NoSQL databases are schemaless because of JSON. We declare variables in while we are writing program, right? Is JSON a program? No. Then what is the need for variables? I am representing data, so I don't need variables. Yeah, if I was writing a program, I need variable. That's the difference. Variable is used only while programming, not in representing data. If you want to read this file in your Java or .NET, then you might need variables, not here. Yeah. How the exchange is done between two systems? Worry about the structure first, then I'll tell you how the exchange happens. So how are you calling the internet Google website? What is the protocol which you use? That does that job. HTTP takes care of publishing your or transporting your JSON to one from your laptop to the server. That is the protocol's responsibility. Right. సొంతంగా ఆలోచించండి. ఆ బోర్డు చూసి అలాగే ఇంకోటి రాసేస్తే ఉపయోగం ఉండదు. మహా అయితే ఏమో తప్పు అవుద్ది అంతేగా. At a bare maximum, what would happen? Your format might be wrong. So whenever you write wrong, you can learn what is correct. Does Packer come before CD in the pipeline? Comes in CD, not before CD. It is part of your CD. Yeah. Okay. Somehow I don't agree to your structure, Purna, because I want playgrounds information and movie theaters information. And basically, by reading at your JSON file, it looks to me like playground characteristics. I want this file to represent playgrounds in your city and movie theaters in your city. So let me help you out. Okay. So if I had to do the same work, I would have started with, I am quite sure that everyone is starting from here, right? In here, the first key which I want to play around with is playground single or multiplier? ఒకటే ఉందా మీ ఊర్లో? అసలు లేకపోతే గొడవే లేదు, కీయే రాయాల్సిన పని లేదు. Okay. And theaters, will we have single or multiplier theaters? Yeah. And now for every playground, what is that you would be having? Is it simple or complicated? So right now for every playground, decide what is that you want to write. Similarly, for every theater, what is that you want to write? That's it. Okay. Keys, I am not worried. If you are able to arrive or do the reasoning whatever I am doing to achieve to a JSON structure, that is more than enough. So Try to find out what is that you want to write. What are the things which repeat? The things which repeat, where you will be looking at square brackets. If the thing is simple, directly write it. If the thing is complicated, use a curly brace. Right? Okay. That's it. That's my help. Now you go ahead. So this is our packer file. Don't worry about what these things are. See what are the different keys which you have: variables, builders, provisioners. Okay. Variable is a object and you have multiple properties there. And then builder is array first, array of objects. Builder is array of objects, and then you have provisioners. Provisioner is again array of objects. Square bracket is an array, and then curly brace is an object. So we have to write packer something like this. For that reason, we should know what a JSON is and why do we write in this format. Okay. And it doesn't make sense for me to teach about this format. Let us make it generic so that we understand JSON and then apply that JSON to here. All right. Okay. Wonderful. You are using array of objects and then you are using some stuff, playground, but everything is good apart from one thing. I would have written the properties with multiplier sense: movie theaters, playgrounds, because your basic, your keys. It is not wrong syntactically, but it would have been better if you have used the plural notation there. Yeah. Kartika, I think your structure is wrong. In array, you have to write objects. Okay. And whenever you are writing an object, it should have a curly brace. So in your square bracket, in your playground, I am not seeing a curly brace. So it is syntactically wrong. It is not a JSON. Okay. Playground. In playground, you have used a square bracket. And after that, you have, I think you have forgot to write the curly brace. Use that. Otherwise, it is not a valid JSON. Yeah. Fine. Did we got the essence of it? Yes. So try to write one more thing on your own. Pakkanol దగ్గర నుంచి choose right. IRCTC, everyone knows, right? Yes. In IRCTC, you have to write the trains information. So whenever you search for that, you are getting the train information, right? So if you have to represent that in JSON, try to write how do you write it. Okay. Train information in IRCTC. For the people who don't travel on train, try Redbus. Okay. And for the people who travel only on flights, use Make My Trip. Okay. I want you to represent something. I'm not worried what you are representing. Right. So any transport reservation systems, you would have list of different transport that are possible. Try to write a JSON which tells you about that. Okay. So by looking at your JSON, I should know where your train or bus or flight goes and what are the different stops. Where does it stop? Right. Yes. So boarding point, dropping point, everything. Try to come up with a structure around it. All right. So try it. If you try it tomorrow, whatever we are doing in Packer in terms of representing our logic will be simple. Otherwise, first ఆ స్ట్రక్చర్ అర్థం అవదు, రెండోది ఎందుకు చేస్తున్నామో అసలు అర్థం. So the whole purpose is defeated if you don't know the JSON's format. But it is a very simple format, not a very complex format. There are only three possibilities: simple value, complex value, or a multiplier value, or which we call as a list also. Multiple values in list అని కూడా అంటాం కాబట్టి simple, complex, and list. Those are the only three possible values in JSON. Fine. Okay. So yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah, only one suggestion: use theaters, because you're telling about multiple theaters. Your key should be theaters, not theater sound singular. Okay. Whenever you're writing, if you see in our packer, we were seeing something like builders, provisioners, not builder. They have written it as builders because they are telling about multiple of them. All right. That's the only correction. Yeah. Fine then. So let me stop it at that. Try these JSON files, and this with this JSON knowledge, let us write packer tomorrow. Let us fill our builder section. Look, how do we find those builder values, and then provisioners, and then let us do whatever we have achieved in what do you say in the manual class yesterday. Let us try to automate it. Fine. Okay. So on Wednesdays, I'll be stopping early on every day. As I said, Wednesday our classes will be till 8:15 itself. Okay. Sometimes I forget it. Yeah. But yeah, I have a meeting to rush after these classes. So even cloud will be stopped at 9:30 on Wednesdays. All right. So let us stop it at this point, and let us continue this discussion from tomorrow. Is it sounding simple? Yes. It will not be the same simplicity after 1.5 day, because slightly the pace increases. Right. That's because I have content to cover. That's it. ఏదో నేనేదో ప్రూవ్ చేసుకోవాలని కాదు. The problem is we have to discuss about the complicated scenarios which you are going to use in your office, right? So slightly I will increase the pace. Okay. So for the people who are finding ఇప్పుడు మాట్లాడేదే ఫాస్ట్ అనిపిస్తుందో ఒకసారి నాతో మాట్లాడండి. Right. Okay. Fine. Thanks. The key also we need to give in quotes. Yes, because key also can be a string, number, and a string and number. Okay. So that's why you use quotes. Yeah. Fine. Thanks.